I ask the Great Spirit for wisdom in choosing the words of the invader's tongue to try to convey a meaning and understanding to them that they are almost surely almost incapable of comprehending, but the Great Spirit guides my fingers across the keys. I open my inner ears and my inner eyes and hear the voices of the 500 million of my ancestors who were slaughtered, and my blood runs cold with their screams and pain, and my Taino ancestors hot with outrage demand retribution. But then a voice of a wise elder mother from the lands to the north tells me to show mercy and understanding for the sick and monstrous beasts, for they do not know what they do. They do not possess the wisdom of the elders or the advice of the Great Spirit, for they have no souls. And thus, as an indigenous sovereign of our continent, Turtle Island, living in exile protected by the Slavs for over 2 decades, who has seen his family and meager existence destroyed by these same reptilian Khazari Zionist monstrosities that this piece is about, and who are blinded by insatiable greed as are the horrendous corporations, I address the sovereigns of the world. I address their Russians and the Slavs are great brothers, and the Sumerians and the dark Africans are ancient brothers, and the Mongols and Caucasians and Orientals and Aboriginals and Arabs and Egyptians and Persians and Mayans and Aztecs and all of the real indigenous peoples of the European tribes, and finally the beautiful and simple and good simple peoples all over the world who right now feel my pain as I feel theirs, and who feel the disturbance in the universe and the Great Spirit, and who have not forgotten the old ways and the old truths and the old stories which are flowing through our veins. I turn on my inner eye, and as I am a mixed hybrid, I not only have the memories of my direct ancestors to draw knowledge from, but from all of mankind, and the old truth must now be told, and the old tales hidden and forgotten, obfuscated and deleted for thousands of years, must once again, in order to save the Great Mother and protect my people, must be known by the blinded modern shells of men who have denied the very nature of their God-given selves and have lost sight in their blind primitive corporate greed in the truth that we must all protect irreplaceable Mother Earth. I, the writer, am no longer writing this. My fingers and my mind have now been taken over by the Great Spirit who is knocking at the eastern door. And the story is thus: in the darkest and coldest and stormiest days of ancient times, when the world froze over and we were forced onto caves and underground dwellings, there came a day when a family, trying to escape the cold, traveled deeper and deeper into the ground. No one had ever traveled so deep. It went against all the teachings and rules, and they went down and down until they finally came to the end of a tunnel. They did not know what to do. It was warmer here, but there was almost no air, and the smell of sulfur was strong. And there they saw, on the floor, a small door. With a strange lock on the outside. They did not know what it was, but they knew there must be warmth and food down below. They found a rock and used their axe to finally break the lock and open the trapdoor. Suddenly they were pulled below and never seen again. Legend has it that the creatures that lived in the underworld were not of this world, and they could not enter the world above because they did not possess bodies as we know them. These black creatures, these demons, crawled into the young bodies of the family and then reproduced for centuries, and although they lived in the underworld they had bodies now, and one day they came up from the ground, and lost themselves in the world of man. They did not possess human souls or understanding, and they did not possess the memories of their elders and ancestors to guide them. They had no connection to the land, and the land did not help them, but they were sly and clever and knew how to adapt and manipulate and pretend to be whoever they wanted to be. One day Kami and they wanted to return to the underworld, but those who did were killed, as they were no longer the same as the others below, and those who survived were banished. It is these creatures who take identities and possess peoples, and who do not possess their own lands but are clever in the ways of killing. It is these creatures who slaughtered the tribes and the nations and poisoned the Europeans and infiltrated their cultures and polluted their blood and taught them to kill and steal and take whatever they wished. It is from them that the rhesus factor appeared as they tried to interbreed, which they did successfully, and over time they too possessed souls and the memories of ancestors, but some of them did not. Because of this lack of soul or homeland in my end, why of them grew insatiable greed, and out of envy they wanted to kill all humans and own the upper world and make it like the underworld they could never return to. One such group evolved into the Rothschilds, and their ancient and fundamental wish, because they lack souls, is to enslave and eventually eradicate all humanity. That is the old legend. Now perhaps you have a slight understanding of the evil. You understand why we must guard the mother and not allow the Black Death and demons from the underworld to poison the lands. They manipulate and divide you, they steal everything you have and cause you to hate your brothers and sisters. They divide you and then conquer you and then enslave you and your children, but we must all as humans stand together, for we are all children of the Mother and the Great Spirit, and we are all equal. Your greed and desire for power and control of others is not natural and not what the Great Spirit wants. It is these demons who have rewritten your histories, given you false gods and religions to make you hate and kill your brothers and sisters and hide their own origins. I am trying to stop you Americans from continuing to be their puppets of death. You must use your strength and power for good, or you will bring about your ruin and destruction with your greed. All religions tell you greed is bad because that is how evil gets its foot into your lives and minds and destroys you. You have done wrong for hundreds of years. You have slaughtered, enslaved, subjected, marginalized and stolen everything from the sovereigns, and here the sovereign is trying to save you from the Dark Lord who owns you and wants to now destroy you all. You know his name. You know the methods they use to subvert your state and your people and cause strife and death and mayhem and war. You even know they hide behind the Semite people who they pretend to be while committing genocide against them. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.